America is in today. Inflation, sir, more than tripled in 2021, from 1.4 to 7%. And from June to the end of September 2021, inflation hovered, I think, around 5.4%, and then began a steady increase until reaching an historic 8.6% that is now crippling Americans' spending power today. Chair Powell, when inflation remains steady at 5.4% during that period in 2021, what factors played into the Fed's decision to keep rates at nearly zero during each FOMC meeting in June, in July, and in September of 2021, sir?
So during the summer of 2021, just giving us hindsight, inflation was coming down month by month. If you look at monthly readings for CPI or PCE, they were coming down month on month through September. And so that I think, told us that our thesis that this was going to be a passing inflation shock was at least plausible. I think that the data turned pretty hard in October and November, and we very much changed our position, and since then have tightened financial conditions quite significantly. So it was a matter of a few months when we were really looking at this and thinking it's going to be passing. Most macroeconomists thought that it would be a passing thing. It turned out to not have been so far, and so.
But we saw it move from 1.4% to 5.4%. So I don't, we did have a steady period of time. I wouldn't say that it was declining, but I'm just surprised that we weren't moving more quickly at the Fed. I mean, I want to be honest, sir, that the Fed, I think, underestimated actual inflation. What do you think you missed?
Well, we did underestimate it. With the benefit of hindsight, clearly we did. So it comes down to this judgment that we had to make. It has really nothing to do with our framework or anything like that. And every central bank had to make the same judgment, which was looking at the supply chain problems and, the shock to labor force participation, millions of people out of the labor force. We had to decide whether that was going to be a lasting thing or whether it would kind of turn around quickly. We had very high levels of labor force participation. Suddenly they're much lower. The thought was people will come back. As soon as COVID is over, we have these new vaccines. Every American is going to get vaccinated. We'll be done with COVID by the end of the year. So basically, these supply side issues, broadly speaking, just didn't get better. There were recurring waves, and that was the judgment we had to make. We knew it could be wrong, and I think when it started to look pretty wrong, we pivoted. And
now, President Biden continues.
Like 7 months ago.
President Biden continues to say that a recession is not inevitable. As his government agencies, and Dems in Congress continue to spend billions and trillions of taxpayer dollars, burden businesses with costly rules and regulations, and on top of it, the president refuses to unleash American energy independence. The president's policies continue to take inflation-taming options, I think, off the table and hamstring the Fed's ability to focus on price stability. President Biden not only limits the energy production here in America and spends trillions of our taxpayers' money, but he also threatens tax increases and promises to cancel billions in debt. How can you still say, sir, that the Fed has a pathway to a soft landing for the economy?
Well, that's our intention is to achieve inflation getting back to 2%, and
with all I've laid out,
a strong labor market. I'm sorry.
With all I've laid out, and the increases you're going to have to take.
So, as I mentioned, I think that path has gotten more and more challenging, thanks to the effects on oil prices and food prices, really, and also the supply chains from the war in Ukraine. It was never going. We never said
not
it was
just
going
the
to be
war in
easy.
Ukraine, sir.
Well, it's the rise in energy prices and the rise in which has been.
Yo, she is on my boy head, y'all. Yo, she is on my boy head. This is wild.
Began in February. The latest rise from February.
The latest rise. This has been going on for a year and a half. I appreciate the chair's indulgence. I will yield back the balance of my time. Thank you, Chairman Powell.
The gentleman from.
All right, man. That's really what I wanted to hear and what I wanted to listen to. Let's get into some DOGELON Mars news. I'm not sure if I'm having some type of technical difficulties here. I'm trying to get the internet. We're trying to get my internet. It's showing.